Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning is a non-profit registered society working now for more than 4 decades in the areas of Indian heritage, awareness and education.
Ishvara is in self-attention. Ishvara is a jnani according to Bhagavan. Ishvara doesn't have sankalpa according to Bhagavan. Ishvara dharma according to many is having sankalpa as omnipotence. In some, the dharma of Ishvara is witnessing. They say Ishvara's dharma is manasakshi. Therefore, you also be manasakshi. You will become in reverse gear. You will go and identify with Ishvara. You will not be in conflict with whatever he has created. So the second dharma of Ishvara is manasakshi. So there is sakshi bhava also in Vedanta. If you take the dharma of sakshi, you indirectly go into reverse gear and abide with the Ishvara. So you just witness whatever is happening. But in Atma Jnana, Ishvara is not even having that dharma. And according to Bhagavan, Ishvara is not having that dharma. Ishvara is a pure jnani. He is only self-attentive. In his sannidhi, Bhagavan says, in the sannidhi of Ishvara, the whole cosmos rises, exists and subsides. The jnani also needs to be only that. The jnani may be a small particle in Ishvara, but he also has to partake in that dharma of Ishvara, of self-attention only. The entire cosmos is in self-attention. You have that dharma of self-attention. Whatever duty is to be done by you gets done as the other works are being done. This is the dharma of self-attention. Now, if time is permitting, I can go into the Vedanta way of, 15 minutes is there. Very interestingly, in the mornings, we have been discussing various works of Bhagavan. After Dhyana, after Atma Vichara, we chant Upadesha Saram. See, what happens in practice is, when we chant one of Bhagavan's works, the mind gets less cluttered. That's why on Saturdays also, we do Parayana of all Bhagavan's Sanskrit works for 45 minutes, and then sit for Atma Vicharam. When we uniformly, calmly chant, the mind gets less and less cluttered, gets prepared for self-attention. Now in the mornings we do that, and then we read one of Bhagavan's works in the morning walk. We have been reading various commentaries written by various authors. Now we have been reading Drigdrishya Viveka, which is one of the works, part of translations present in collected works. Drigdrishya Viveka, Vichara Manimalai, these are all translations made by Bhagavan from the scriptures. The translations of Bhagavan does two things. One is, the self-abiding jnani validates scriptures. It is not that he is validated by the scriptures. His anubhava validates. He says, this is correct. You refer to this. If you feel like reading, if you still have the habit of reading, you don't know what to do, go and read this. Like that he has translated some works. Devi Kalauttara, Sarvajnanauttara, Bhagavad Gita Sara. When you still have the proclivity to read, you read that, you will come to self-attention. Like that, he has translated Drigdrishya Viveka. In that, we are reading the Tejomayananji's translation, the commentary. Tejomayananji is the head of Chinmaya Mission. They do excellent work in carrying Bhagavan's teachings forward, because they have great respect for Upadesha Saram, Saddarshanam. They have done yeoman service in taking those teachings forward, because they are all Rupa, Swarupa of Bhagavan. Who am I is the form in which Bhagavan has come to me. The teachings of Bhagavan is all the breath of Ishvara. Bhagavan has detected the breath of Ishvara in those words and given us. You don't even need to know the meaning, says Bhagavan. You just do Parayana, you will go back to the breath of Ishvara. Just holding the words of Bhagavan, the words will drop, you will merge into the breath of Ishvara, he says. All the words will drop off. Now, Drigdrishya Viveka is one such work where the Vedanta explains the dharma of self-enquiry. Very beautiful. I had shared it with our friend Muhammad, I forget, sir, Muhammad Ali? Yeah, sir. Muhammad Ali ji, who has come from Gadag. I was sharing with him in the afternoon. He was relating some experiences that he has had in the spiritual area, and how Bhagavan's photo has inspired him to a totally different level of experience and calmness he was sharing. So I was sharing the experiences of Mastan Sahib, and this particular reference from Drisha Viveka, I am just repeating that. It's a very beautiful explanation of the dharma of self-inquiry. Like Bhagavan would always say, don't worry about the whole world. If the whole world is full of thorns, all you have to do is, you have to wear chappal. You don't try to cover the whole world in a scientific way. If you understand about the pakwa of 1 grain of rice in a pressure cooker, you know how the whole 1.5 kgs has been cooked. Correct? You take one grain, and like that, if you understand yourself, you understand everything. You study yourself thoroughly, you understand the whole created objects. These verses in Drisha Viveka say that every object in the world have 5 qualities, have 5 dharmas. What are the dharmas? Sat, Chit, Ananda, Nama, Rupa. All the objects, whatever you see. In the first verse it is mentioned as all objects. In the second verse, Drisha gives an explanation. Objects means Panchabhutas, that is Akasha, Vayu, Jala, Bhumi and Agni. Panchabhutas, then all the deities, all the 33,000 crore deities are objects. All the 33,000 crore deities are objects. All human beings are objects. All animals are objects. All non-living beings are objects. Now, all objects have 5 qualities, 5 dharmas. Sat, Chit, Ananda, Nama, Rupa. If you drop Nama and Rupa, which pertain to Maya, then you are left with Satchitananda, which pertains to reality or Sat. That's all. These 2 verses say the whole creation of objects is made up of these 5 dharmas, 5 gunas. What are the dharmas? Sat, Chit, Ananda, Nama, Rupa. All the objects, whatever you see. In the first verse it is mentioned as all objects. In the second verse, Drisha gives an explanation. Objects means Panchabhutas, that is Akasha, Vayu, Jala, Bhumi and Agni. Panchabhutas, then all the deities, all the 33,000 crore deities are objects. All the 33,000 crore deities are objects. All human beings are objects. All animals are objects. All non-living beings are objects. Now, all objects have 5 qualities, 5 dharmas. Sat, Chit, Ananda, Nama, Rupa. If you drop Nama and Rupa, which pertain to Maya, then you are left with Satchitananda, which pertains to reality or Sat. That's all. These 2 verses say the whole creation of objects is made up of these 5 dharmas, 5 gunas. Satchitananda, Nama Rupa. Satchitananda is reality, Nama Rupa is unreal. Now, do we have to negate the Nama Rupa of the whole world? He said, don't want. Do it with yourself. That portion alone I will describe to you. That portion with which Tejomeyananji, from all his Vedantic understanding, he has condensed and put it in a 6-sentence form. Let us try to go through that, and it contains the essence of self-inquiry. He says, we all perceive the body. We all perceive the body. Now ellaru dehavannu aritivi. You all agree with me? As soon as we perceive the body, we don't keep quiet. We say, I am the body. We say, I am the body. Nanu yi deha, nanu bande, nanu hode. I came from Chennai yesterday. I went, I did this, I thought, I smiled. So all that, including thought, which is part of the brain for the moment, let us say, an internal organ of the body, let us take it like that. Then we will go to thought as part of the mind. The I am the body thought comes. Then the enquiry comes, since I perceive the body, as the Pandit was saying to us, as I perceive the body, I cannot be the body. Like it is so clear that the wheat in the shop is not me. Is it not clear? The wheat which is in the shop, is it me? No. We go and grind it into flour. Is that flour me? No, the flour is not me. Is it me? No. The flour is made into dough. Is the dough me? No, dough is not me. The dough is made into a mixture with saliva. After being made into chapati or bread, it is put into the mouth. It becomes a mixture of saliva. Suddenly, it becomes something in doubt. Then it goes inside with the acidic thing and it splits into protein and starch. Suddenly we say it is me. When the wheat was in the shop, it is not me. When it became the body, it suddenly became me. I identify with a wheat ball. This is just wheat ball. Or in my case, it is rice ball. You can see. Suddenly we have, with a rice bag from shop, we have identified when we are saying this is me. So Bhagavan says, you are not the body. Come to the point that you are the consciousness within the body. That is the second step. Third step he asks us to do, free that consciousness of all thoughts. The thoughts seem to limit the consciousness. Free the consciousness of all thoughts by enquiry, who am I? Nanu yaru. When you free the consciousness, you understand, I am the limitless consciousness. I have no bondage by time and space. I am not bound by time and space. When I am not bound by time and space, then where is this body? The body is bound by, it was born on 10/11/1962, very quickly going to go away. It is not present here, it is present here, it is again not present. So body is bound by time and space, but earlier I was thinking I am the consciousness within the body, but now I have freed it from limitations. So which is in which? Is the consciousness within the body, or all the limited objects of the cosmos, are they within me? This is an important transition which happens in self-enquiry. You get into your Swadharma. A few years back in Munji, the Punal ceremony, somebody was asking me, do you know your Swadhyaya? I asked him, what do you mean by Swadhyaya? He said, you must be coming from some Veda. I said, yes, I know that Yajur Veda is the Yajushyaka Pravaranvita. Like that, I used to say, I come from Yajur Veda. Do you know Yajur Veda? He said. I said, I don't know. At least I had learned to speak truth by then. Bhagavan comes to our rescue. That Veda and Sanskrit are truly great. They are all words used by the great sages to bring down the knowledge of God so that we can practice and get back to that. But Bhagavan says, to know yourself, you don't need to know Sanskrit. You need to know the self. Now, without putting down any of that, any of the greatness of the language, bowing down to Mata, I should do self-enquiry. Now in that I come to the point where when I remove the thought, Sanskrit, I remove the thought that not knowing Sanskrit is belittling me. When I remove that, I understand that thought-free consciousness has no limits. And whatever has limits is within me. Tejomayananji and Vedanta doesn't stop there, and I also don't stop there. Because this within me and without me is also a limitation. It doesn't make us come to our Swadharma. Nannolage deha lokagalide. Inside me, the world and objects exist. Also limits me. It is not the true self. I am that thought-free state in which nothing apart from me is. I alone am. Bhagavan alone is. Hence, whatever is perceived as the world is that Since whatever is perceived as the world is that, I too am that. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramnaya.